the way that you talk about how prayer has worked for you in terms of how you've structured it and how praying for the right thing, what that means, what I really got from it was not my will, but thy will be done. Focuses on the relationship between I and thou, or between God and us in relationship. And that was the only kind of relationship that I ever knew growing up, that it was me here and God somewhere else. And so, with that as a given, the idea of not my will, but thy will was always implicit with it's me here and God there. So, with that dualistic understanding already in place, it's a feeling of surrender. And we've talked before about how surrender can have all kinds of loaded baggage to it, surrender. But that's really what you're talking about in that, right? Not my will, but I want to surrender to what you're doing. I try to start my day now the way you've talked about, which is, God, what do you want me to do today?
That's the key question for each of us. And it's not one big global question, thy will be done. It's every day and even multiple times in a day. Sometimes I'm praying often, and most people are praying for God, please do something for me, rescue me from this situation. And those are earnest and appropriate thing to be sharing with God, what you would like God's help with. However, the crucial question isn't making God a rescue helicopter, coming to land to save you. I have a 911 number. God is not a 911 number. It's like the orchestra conductor and the single violinist. I've got to be doing what the conductor is saying to do. When he points to the violin section, I've got to start with the other violins, right? And on the orchestra conductor's cue. And most of life is like that. There are things like the Ten Commandments, things you can sort of codify as sort of rules. Most of life is live in micro bits, you might say, in the particularities of a day, of a relationship, how to treat my wife, how to treat my child, my parents, my next door neighbor. There's also the question, God, what do you want me to do? Well, what am I to do today? What's the priority? What should I be focusing on? And that's where I start. And it is a kind of surrender. And there is something liberating about surrender.